Happy Thanksgiving, guys. This is filmed on Thanksgiving. Hopefully I get it uploaded today. So we're going to talk about the general crypto markets. A very creepy place right now with all the lawsuits. CZ probably going to Club Fed. Man, I hope they don't soften him up in there, man. CZ seemed like a good guy, man. I don't want him getting roughed up by these, inner city thugs from Chicago, MS-13 type dudes, just busting his ribs out. I don't want to see that happen to CZ, to be honest with you. I think this whole thing is kind of BS, to be straight up with you. And I think what they told him, they probably said, we're going to throw you in Club Fed for 50 years unless you agree to this plea deal and you step down, da 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 da. He's not even from here. He's not even from the United States, man. What does CZ do? You know, even when people were pulling their funds during the FTX collapse and after the FTX collapse, Binance was still staying strong, you know. They walked the walk, they talked the talk, they had the funds. They weren't insolvent. Everybody in general seemed pretty satisfied with Binance for the most part. And I'm not gonna say everybody in crypto is a perfect angel, but a lot of this stuff has gotten completely out of control. If you saw Bittrex Global, they're shutting down. Bittrex had been around. I've probably been using Bittrex since about 2014 or so. And they got the SEC lawsuit earlier in the year, and then they decided to shut down the U.S. operations. They turned it to Bittrex Global. It's just been too much for them. They're shutting down altogether. We saw Hotbit pull the plug. Maybe they just felt like the heat was on too much, didn't want to be doing it anymore. They had pulled the plug, maybe a year ago, or I forget exactly when they pulled the plug. You see, Kraken got sued again by the SEC. They had a huge settlement already, and then it's almost like that wasn't enough. That was back in February. Boom, they're getting hit with another lawsuit. The SafeMoon guys, they got hit with all kinds of fraud allegations from the Department of Justice. They got sued. Obviously, Richard Hart, got sued. Here's some clanging. Might be a deer banging its antlers. So Richard Hart, he obviously got sued. And, and he said over and over again, there is no guarantee and there is no promise of any particular type of work or anything. He'd been very, very careful with his wording. They still sued him, and when you read the thing, they just made him just sound like, the shysteriest, creep, you could ever imagine. So, and I don't agree with that. He kept saying there's no promise here. He was obviously worried about the implications of it being deemed a security. But that's the issue. It's like, how do you raise money and how do you perpetuate any kind of crypto company or any kind of crypto project without running as securities laws? And it could come at you 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line, 8 years down the line. I mean, look at Ripple Labs. I mean, they'd been out there trading 6 or 7 years, and the SEC hit them, with the lawsuit, and they're still battling. It takes years and years and years. And they know that most are not going to survive the legal battle. It's too expensive. So Bittrex didn't survive. Does Kraken survive? Does Coinbase survive? Does Gemini survive? Does Binance survive this? Who knows? It's like they're trying to snuff them out. And that's why about a month or more ago, I said the whole thing that I was doubtful that we would get a spot ETF approval this year in 2023 because they've sued everybody. And then they'll sit there and say, well, where are you going to derive the price from? All these exchanges and stuff fell afoul of anti-money laundering stuff. So the DOJ was after them, or securities laws. So the SEC was after them, and we can't get a proper price feed, yada, 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 yada. And it's like a strategic thing, trying to snuff it out. So that was one of the things. If you're not from the United States, there is a candidate named Vivek Ramaswamy. He kind of made this big statement that, he would be not not be kind of rolling out all these lawsuits and stuff in this kind of impending crypto attack, that he would make sure that's not happening, kind of thing. Obviously, he's trying to earn the rapport of younger voters. Trump really never liked Bitcoin. He never really liked crypto, but didn't get so aggressive with it. And obviously, in other countries, it's been an issue as well. Obviously, in China, they're always flip-flopping back and forth on what the actual situation is with crypto mining, all this and that. But so in regards to like sourcing funds and keeping a project rolling, this is kind of one of the things that popped up with ICP, Internet Computer Protocol. So there was a social media app called District, and they basically, it was getting too expensive for them to maintain and operate it, and they decided to not maintain it anymore, and they had about 110,000 users, I guess, on it. Seemed like a pretty good app, and you know, they quit, and they're probably worried that if they went and did a token launch, or they did some kind of other funding method, that, you know, they would have the authorities or something after them in the future. I mean, can you imagine not even being from this country, and then you got like the Department of Justice after you, like trying to throw you in prison, taking away your freedom, like the situation with CZ? I mean, it's just nuts. And it's kind of funny to see the narrative that people try to roll out. They'll you know, they'll sit there and say, oh, okay, now that this Binance thing's behind us, it's all clear, it's all blue skies for the Bitcoin ETF. And it's like, what? Like, there's like all these other lawsuits going on and all these other investigations going on at the same time. So again, I don't think it necessarily, like, you know, paves this like magical clear magic rainbow. It's like Mario Kart, you know, it's like the magic rainbow level or whatever that is. I don't think it does that for it, personally, but at the end of the day, I think it's tough for anybody, whether they're in the United States or they're outside the United States, to really feel like that they can kind of come forward and start a project in good faith and not feel like that they're going to have these government entities looking over their shoulder, or they're going to be micromanaged, or that they're not going to potentially lose their freedom or something in the future. I mean, a guy like Vitalik, he's kind of maybe gotten a pass, maybe, but you know, he raised $18 million worth of Bitcoin back in 2014 timeframe, and you know, somebody could say that that was a security, and they did deliver. You know, Ethereum came out, and you know, it's been operational, obviously, and they've kind of given him somewhat of a pass, it seems, for now. But how many of these guys could go back after? The Safe Moon guys, they've went after him. Richard Hart, they went after. So, you know, projects themselves, and again, I'm not trying to say the Safe Moon guys might have said a bunch of crazy stuff. I don't really know. They could have said, you know, I think one of the things in the claim was that they were saying that there was a certain amount of this money that was going back into the liquidity pool to deepen the liquidity over on like PancakeSwap. And some of that may not have been happening. And then they used the money kind of for their own interests and stuff, for cars and, you know, this, that, and the other. So it's just very, 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 very hard to say. How do you safely start a project? You almost like, it's hard to even have a roadmap. It's hard to do a proposal on a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization. What if you put a proposal forward on ICP, or you put one forward on Hive, and if you don't do exactly what you meant to do, or there's some kind of roadblock, or you have to do a workaround, have you fallen afoul and then the DOJ's after you or something? You know what I mean? Like, I know that sounds extreme, but I wouldn't have thought CZ was going to be going to Club Fed. So I don't know, man. I hope, you know, I wish for a safety. And, you know, I think it's ridiculous it's kind of came to this. I don't think people are making as big of a deal out of it as they should. Because they'll be like, oh, well, he admitted to money laundering. Yeah, they probably said they were going to give him 50 years unless he goes for this plea deal. And with these plea deals, There is no justice. There is no justice. It's this forced thing. They don't want him to leave the country. They're acting like he's a flight risk. It's ridiculous, man. What has CZ really done? To be honest with you, you know, anytime I utilized Binance, anytime I utilized the Binance Smart Chain, anytime I was on any of these products, satisfied customer right here. And you know, I just think it's a sad time. And then it's just crazy, the narrative. Oh, you know, it's a clear path for the ETF. I don't know. You know, it could happen, guys. I mean, again, crypto is the future. We are here now, but they are trying to like stomp it out. They're trying to stomp the guys out that took the risk. And obviously, these guys they not only risk their freedom, or they not only risk their finances, obviously they risk their freedom too by doing any of this stuff, having a centralized exchange, and even this DeFi stuff. You know, obviously these projects they start getting squirmy, start thinking, you know, maybe we should start blocking US IPs. But even when companies have done that, because even if you remember that EOS ICO, they blocked US IPs, they still got sued by the SEC and said, oh, well, people from the United States were able to get around that, or they were able to buy this stuff on secondary markets. Block One was able to settle with them for 16 million. But again, it's like a shakedown for all these companies, all these projects. And again, I'm not trying to go to bat for Block One. We know the situation there. They just, you know, they didn't really kind of kick back a lot of that ICO money to the community and really kind of keep developers going. And so a lot of these guys just got left high and dry, clearly. So, but that was even earlier on. That was earlier than a lot of that stuff really kind of came through, that they got sued by the SEC. So anyway, guys, that's just a lot of my thoughts, man. What do you guys think about the CZ thing? What do you think about the Kraken lawsuit? Bittrex is down. She gone. Bittrex is gone. I just think it's a sad thing, man. So I think a lot of stuff's going to go to more kind of decentralized stuff. We're starting to see that. I think it's part of the reason why Cake is pumped. That's why like maybe Uniswap is kind of pumped. And but again, there's points of failure with that. There's somebody hosting the websites. There's somebody behind the keyboard coding it. And you know, and they went after some of these guys in the past. Remember, like, I think it was called Ether Delta, sort of like an exchange for like ERC20 tokens back in the 2017, 2018 timeframe. And I think they hit him with like $250,000 lawsuit or something like that for Ether Delta, saying, oh, these were securities. These shouldn't be on here. And it was just a decentralized platform, sort of like a decentralized exchange. So I don't know, man. It's tough. What do you guys think about this stuff? Leave comments below. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow me on all social media at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steemit, Twitter, Hive, DTube, everywhere.